Ever seen anything like it?
Where's the cable?
There's no cables.
What the?
24-pin, 8-pin, GPU power connectors, they're gone, and yet it's working.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. And to find out how it came to be, we're gonna have to go back in time. In time. In time. Wow! Project Stealth PC DIY kit. What are you? You look like so much fun. I can't wait to play with you. Ridge. Ridge wallet can hold up to 12 cards, comes with a cash strap or money clip, and makes a great gift for Father's Day. From May 20th to June 8th, 2022, you can get 15% off your order at ridge.com/minus. Top to bottom, back to front, I'm expecting every aspect of the Project Stealth kit from Gigabyte to be an interesting one. Starting, of course, with the PC DIY kit right here. Unlike a normal bare bones, it only includes a case and a motherboard pre-installed in the box, no cooler and no power supply, and also unlike a normal bare bones, it includes one of the components that most gamers really prefer to choose for themselves rather than being locked into one option. A GPU. That means you can have any GPU you want as long as it's this RTX 3070 that's included in the box. But what's special about it? This right here. The 8-pin and 6-pin PCI Express power connectors are actually on the bottom of the card where the PCIe slot is. Now, under normal circumstances, these would be impossible to get at, but in this particular chassis, which is specifically designed with this GPU in mind, there's actually a cutout here to plug in the power, which raises another question. Where the devil are all the other power connectors on here?
Driveway.
There they are. Not only are our power connectors on the back of the board, but even our front USB, our fans, our front power switch and reset switch and all that stuff, everything is actually on the back of this motherboard. It's such a cool and honestly obvious idea that it raises the question, why didn't anybody do this before? You see, Maingear actually patented this concept and pitched it to multiple PC component manufacturers back in 2011, including Gigabyte. So when they saw Gigabyte release,
Ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
So when they saw the Project Stealth kit announced, with them conveniently cut out of the equation, they were understandably miffed. Thankfully, it seems as though the two have patched up their differences since the kit is available either standalone from Gigabyte or as a pre-built from Maingear. And I'm really stoked on that because it means hopefully we can see more of this kind of innovation. I mean, who doesn't like tidier builds with better airflow? I think the people want to see the board. While I'm pulling this out, I realized I don't actually have to
Dokodo, also known as the way of walking alone. This is a set of principles created by Miyamoto Musashi, a famous samurai and swordsmanship expert in Japan. The Dokodo is a guide to living a fulfilling life through self-discipline, mindfulness, and detachment. Before we get into the principles of the Dokodo, let's first understand the context in which it was created. Miyamoto Musashi lived during the 17th century, a time when Japan was in a state of constant turmoil. He was a ronin, a masterless samurai, who spent much of his life traveling the country and engaging in duels with other warriors. Despite his reputation as one of the greatest swordsmen in history, Musashi eventually grew tired of violence and sought to find a more peaceful way of life. It was during this time that he wrote the Dokodo, which he intended as a guide for himself and others who wished to live a fulfilling life. The Dokkodo is divided into 20.
Low-key, I'm just gonna go outside because I want to go see the Mercedes.
You don't want to play?
Yeah, I don't feel like playing right now.
Alright, I'm gonna play some.
Alright, well, see you later.
Deuces.
Dating brings us close to a particular strand of philosophy that, the rest of the time, might not seem particularly relevant to our lives: existentialism. One of the movement's major proponents, Jean-Paul Sartre, developed a set of ideas that help explain and give dignity to the anxiety, excitements, and at points vertigo we may experience as we go through the dating ritual. A key concept of existentialism is expressed in Sartre's somewhat obscure but useful phrase, being precedes essence. What Sartre meant by being are the bits of life that we are free to choose for ourselves. How we live, what job we do, how we conceive of what happens to us. And by essence, he refers to things that lie outside our command: our biological nature, the flow of history, the position of the stars. What Sartre wished to point out to us, in a spirit of wanting to liberate us from certain rigidities of mind, is that being should ultimately be thought of as more important than essence. However much we sometimes like to tell ourselves that things have to be the way they are, there are in fact many radically different possible versions of ourselves available to us. We can choose, to an extraordinary extent, how things might be for us. But much of the time, Sartre felt, we don't give this open-ended aspect of our identities enough space in our minds. We assert that the way we live is inevitable and fixed, and imply that we have no agency over our stories. But Sartre argues that this is an illusion. The kind of person we are right now developed as a result of all sorts of small and large decisions. It could have been very different, and maybe different.
I should've got you flowers and hold your hand. Should've gave you all my hours when I was your man.
Most of us fail in life because we're afraid of what everyone around you is thinking. That's 100% truth.
People, one thing you have to learn early in life. I didn't learn this till later on. I don't give a You can't care what anybody thinks about you. If I cared what people thought about me, you think I'd be yelling out here, doing a 105-pound ruck, talking?
Well, I guess my days of going outside are over, thanks to EcoFlow, who sponsored this video. Some people get naturally excited about the outdoors, even yard work. As you can see, that ain't me. Which is why the blade from EcoFlow is only the first in what is likely going to end up being a series of videos covering yard maintenance robots over the next year or so. This one has a couple of standout features. First and foremost being that it comes completely pre-assembled, which, really? Okay, well they say it comes completely pre-assembled, and it features what they're calling sweeping technology, which means that not only will it cut the grass, it will also remove, I guess, leaves, needles? Does it do needles?
It does needles.
Great, because that is a huge problem in this yard. By the way, that's Jordan. I think this is the first time you're meeting him. It's cute. Truthfully, I don't have much in the way of talking points about this thing, and this is the first time seeing of it, but I do know that they offer Are those razor blades? What the hell? That is not the kind of lawnmower blade I was expecting to see. The idea here is that if it hits a stick or a rock or something, it'll just give, it'll just...
It can seem very confusing why certain long-term relationships survive and some don't. It can, from afar, look as if it's the most cruel and alarming sort of lottery. Trying to explain love to a child or a visitor from another planet promises to be a perplexing matter indeed. All couples on their wedding day are united in wanting to make things work. Then, for reasons beyond anyone's comprehension, some of them simply seem to dissolve, and others don't. To remove some of the terrifying element of apparent chance, and encourage us to work on the right aspects of our own couples, it may be helpful to become deliberately reductive about the real reasons why breakups occur. We need, in this regard, first to discount certain causes that gain far too much airtime relative to their actual likelihoods. Of course, sometimes people break up because one party wants a younger partner, or because they want better sex, or because they are seeking a more exciting companion, or because their hobbies or political views have drifted apart, or because things have, somehow, grown stale. But let's quickly try to reduce the role we give to such explanatory factors. Given the costs of breakups, given the massive investments that people make in being together, given the chaos generated if there are children, one can assert with a high degree of confidence that almost no one ever splits up for such familiar reasons. The real reason lies elsewhere. The real reason for breakup lies in one or both spouses' sense that they have not been heard, that something very important to them has been disregarded, that their point of view has not, at a fundamental level, been acknowledged and honoured. It doesn't matter what the subject of this non-hearing happens to be. It could be that they haven't been heard about their views on money, or on the way the children are being brought up, or on how their weekends should be managed, or on how intimacy occurs or doesn't occur. It's feeling unheard for our differences that is unbearable. It's never the presence of differences per se. We don't break up because a partner doesn't agree with us. We could stand not getting what we want. We could stand a partner who votes another way than we do, or who is no longer as young as they once were, or who has annoying friends, or different tastes in holidays. What we can't stand is someone who blocks us when we try to articulate how troublesome we find these areas of divergence, when our unique way of looking at existence seems a matter of basic indifference that is too lonely and enraging to bear. It's better to be single than unseen. After all, the unseen are alone anyway, whatever their ostensible relationship status. There is a big difference between a partner not doing what we want and a partner not hearing what we want. It's entirely possible that one would remain with someone who doesn't share most of our interests, so long as they happen to accept and signal an understanding of how much these interests matter to us. It would be possible for us to live with someone who doesn't want the same sort of sex as we do, or wants no sex at all, so long as they can, at points, see matters from our position, and can give a modicum of empathy to our hopes and longings. We could be with someone whose needs for affection run in a different direction, so long as they have the courage to listen to how ours operate. We don't need partners to agree with us on everything. We need them to give off signs that they can accept the scale and legitimacy of our vision. "I understand" is the phrase that could single-handedly rescue more long-term relationships than any number of anniversary celebrations or therapy sessions. It deserves to be known as the most romantic phrase in existence. There is a lot of hope in this thesis. If we want to stay together, we don't need to be exceptionally beautiful or rich. We don't need to rely on chance. We don't need to have brilliant sex or friction-free alignments of interests. We just need to make sure that we are people who listen, who, when the partner has something very important they need to get across to us, can bear to take things on board, can bear to acknowledge an opposite position, can bear to say, "I can see this matters a lot to you, and I will try my hardest to think about it and see what I can do about it." From here, it really doesn't matter if things radically change or not. The vital work will have been done, and the relationship will have been assured. People described as defensive may have 1,000 charms, but we should know that the most flawed, open person is preferable to the most seemingly accomplished defensive one. The person we should settle down with isn't the most attractive or the cleverest. It's the one who feels no pride or compunction in readily saying, "I can hear what you are saying, and how much this matters a lot to you. I get it." Or, "Because I love you, this makes me curious. Tell me more." This person will surely, one day, annoy or frustrate us mightily. Everyone does. We'll just be highly unlikely ever to want to break up with them.
Target is strong.
Connect is a card game to foster connection and closeness, with 100 questions that help couples to rekindle affection. Click the link on screen now to find out more.
Obsequious pupil, I will be your new master.
Psychologist Jordan Peterson says things that so upset protesters.
Tell me, was it desperation that led you to me?
Audacity. This will very much upset the balance.
Zed's order shackles you. I offer freedom. Good choice. Pairs nicely with wrath and fury. I see your nightmares. Do they trouble you?
Not nightmares. Plans. I have chosen you. You will serve me. I have chosen you. You will serve me. Here we go.
Oh, I do. Their screams thrill me. There is much darkness around you, in you.
That is my armor.
Let it loose.
I learned from a young age to embrace the shadows.
Darkness is a start. There's still so much to kill.
A match made in shadow.
Poor Cain. All those plans for naught. Shadows, perhaps. Order, not so much.
You fell flat.
Again! This time they die! So that's what dying feels like. Good thing I'm immortal. How I miss this. The shadows have a new master. Their blood will decorate the ground and the walls. Everything, really. Not worth it.